What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coin Rate Arcade Toy Spot. I just wanted to show you guys these Ninja Turtles that I just picked up pretty recently. This is a full, well, not a full set, but almost a full set of all of the original Ninja Turtles action figures. Now, these are not the OG figures. These are the newly released ones that came out in either 2022 or 2023. They re-released these. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys these are accurate to the original ones. I do have all of the accessories put away. I have them all bagged up, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys all of the figures. We have Donatello, of course, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael. We have April O'Neil. We've got Leatherhead. Now this one, I think, probably my least favorite figure just because of the way he has to stand up. I mean, he is a crocodile or whatever, but yeah, he's kind of interesting the way he sits. He's not the, I don't know, best displayable figure, I guess you can say. He sits a little lower than all the rest and he kind of gets looked past. We have one of the punk frogs. I'm trying to look right now to see if they have the rest of the punk frogs. I believe there's 4 of them in all, but I've only got the one so far. Then, of course, over here we've got Bebop. We've got our Rocksteady. We've got the Fly. He goes by another name too, but ultimately he turns into what we know as the Fly. We've got Krang here, which is really cool. He comes in this little mech body, little robot suit. That's really cool. Opens up, you can take him out. He's a cool little figure. That's a nice little display piece. A good way to display Krang, anyways. We got Wingnut, the bat. Mondo Gecko. He's one of my favorites. He's cool, man. You can't diss Mondo Gecko. And then the weird, but I mean nonetheless, Shredder, with his very interesting clothing choice. Kind of looks like he taken some cues from Paul Stanley from Kiss. He's just letting the chest hang out. Very interesting figure design. The mask, I mean, looks pretty cool with those details. Kind of gives him a little bit of a skull face. But the thing about Shredder that I don't like so much is the way that he stands. Like, he's very hard to get to stand up to begin with because of the way his legs are. But then he just stands like that. Like he's got an injured leg or something. Not a very good pose. I don't know who came up with that or thought that that was going to be a good idea. You know, all the rest of them seem to stand okay. April O'Neil, her stance is a little weird, but at least hers is a little justified because she does have a video camera that she carries. Other than that, though, I think these two right here are probably my least favorite just because of the way that the figures are stanced. They don't really shine as much as the rest of them do when you have them all displayed. But yeah, these are the newer original Ninja Turtle figures. But yeah, very nice. Like I said, they're pretty accurate. I haven't really compared these with the OG figures. But I mean, from everything that I've seen, even on the packaging, they look pretty accurate. Somebody will have to let me know. They could be slightly different. Like maybe Bebop's tusks and teeth aren't blue. I don't know. But yeah, pretty sweet. Yeah, I think, man, Krang is definitely one of my favorites, though. I think this is a genius way to display a little brain character. Oop. Of course he fell out. Oh, man. Got everything falling over now. Yeah, it's okay. Shredder and Leatherhead are both already difficult to get to stand up. There we go. A little touchy, but we got it. Yeah, Krang is cool. His crazy little face. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, really cool figures though. Nice, bright, colorful. If you guys come across them, they are worth buying. They're nice to display, even though they are not the super expensive original ones. They do the trick, and they're nice to look at. But yeah, that's the Ninja Turtles. let's go ahead and take a look at some of the X-Men action figures that I've been recollecting from my childhood. One real quick thing before we move on to the X-Men is, of course, you guys see that I do not have a Master Splinter. Master Splinter has so far been the hardest one for me to locate and buy. The one time I came across it was at a Meijer grocery store. For those of you who don't know what Meijer's is, it's basically another Walmart, more popular up here in Michigan. But I found one, was going to pay for it, and of course they didn't have it in their system, so I wasn't able to buy it. And that's been the one and only time that I have found a Master Splinter out in the wild. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. Still looking for a Master Splinter. Let's move on to the X-Men. Okay, to start off the X-Men, we have Mojo here. Now, this was part of a different series. I forget exactly what the series was called, but in the cartoon, it was like, I don't know if it was like a multiverse or a futuristic thing, but there was some kind of like future cyber world that we started to see inside the X-Men cartoon, and Mojo was like the leader of that world, it seemed like. But obviously he's like a mechanical fat blob scorpion type thing. Interesting character. He's a bigger one, takes up a fair amount of space, makes a good shelf piece. He sits nice and easy. This is not an X-Men, clearly, but I had him in the box as well. This is a older Silver Surfer figure that I had, part of the Fantastic Four toy line. I think it's like 93 or something, but still super chromed out, really sweet. He's a cool little figure. All right, next we have Shatterstar. Now again, with all these, I have all of the pieces and baggies, all of their accessories. He's got a dual sword that he has, and then his arms are spring loaded, and he snaps them down. Here, let me see if I can get it with one hand here. Oh, okay, never mind. They lock into place, and then he's got a little button. Bam, and he slices you with his swords. Yeah, Shatterstar. Some of you guys might remember him from the Deadpool movie. He was only in there, I believe it was the second Deadpool, only in there for a split minute until they kill him off. But he was pretty cool in the cartoon. I always thought he was cool looking. Next we have Beast. Now when these figures came out, they released a line of these that were giant figures. Like I remember having like a 12-inch tall Beast that looked just like this, only bigger. And yeah, I always thought he was super cool, man. He's got a really nice blue to him. Now this figure, it took me the longest time to figure out what this figure did. What was this thing on the back? Because it doesn't really do anything. This thing just flips up, flips down, real loosey-goosey, like what was that for? And then I finally, when buying this one, I looked at the little instruction card that came with it, and his legs have a little bit of spring action to them. So I guess the thing is like you're supposed to push, like flip it up, and then you push it down, right? And then you like let him slip, and I guess he's supposed to do like a front flip. I don't know. It doesn't work that well, so I don't know who designed that. Kind of failed Beast a little bit in that area, but I guess what do you do with Beast, right? He just climbs a lot of stuff. Then one of my favorites, Weapon X. I forget what series this is part of, because you will come across different variants of this figure. Some of them will have green cables, other ones will have blue, red, maybe different color straps or different color packs on the belt. Yeah, there's different variants of Weapon X out there, all based on different series of these figures that they released. I don't know how many series there are. I know there's at least 5. But every time I've ever bought Weapon X, he's always been that color. Moving on. I believe this is Pyro or Firestarter. I forget this guy's name, but I believe it's Pyro. He has little fireballs that you stick in these, little holes here on his wrist. And then he kind of does the same thing Shatterstar does, where he's got the spring-loaded arms, and he just throws the fireballs. Kind of lame, but when these toys came out, man, I was hooked. And I just started recollecting them because I miss them. I used to have every single one of them in a big trunk. I couldn't tell you whatever happened to them. I think my parents sold them or gave them away, but ever since then I've been trying to bring back my collection. Cannonball. This is another character who doesn't do very much. I think he came with a little platform that you stick him on. It's like a teeter-totter. You slam down on one side and he just pops up into the air. Supposed to imitate him flying like a cannonball. But anyways, he was kind of cheaper. You know, he was on the cheaper end of these figures, so I went ahead and picked him up. I think he was only like $5-6. I've been finding a lot of these at my local mom and pop game shop. This guy, he was part of the X Factor, I believe. He comes with a machine gun. I'm not sure what his name is, but I always thought he was cool because he's got this little wind-up thing on the back, right? You wind him up, and then, strangely enough, all he does is he vibrates. But he vibrates to imitate the machine gun, you know, vibrating him around. I thought it was kind of weird that they would make a figure vibrate, but whatever. It works as long as you have the guns in his hands. Outside of that, it is weird. Next, we have Sunspot. This dude I always thought was really cool looking. I don't know who he is. I don't remember ever seeing him in the cartoon. I'm not sure what his powers are, but I always thought he was really cool looking. You know, clearly a black guy. But, runs, swings his arms. You know, pretty cool. I always thought his costume was pretty decent looking. Almost like a X-Men Spider-Man or something. Next, we have Morph. This was a character that I don't feel like they did justice to in the new cartoon. I don't know. The new cartoon does make him look a little cool with the whole, like, plain face mask thing that they have going on. But Morph was like Mystique. He could turn into anybody. And of course, he comes with different heads. He comes with a Wolverine head, which is cool because then he looks exactly like the Wolverine figure that looks just like this one. And I forget who else. He comes with a couple heads. But Morph was always cool. If you're not familiar with him, if you watch the X-Men cartoon, he is in the first couple episodes before they kill him off. I believe he gets shot by a Sentinel. But yeah, they kill him off pretty quick in the cartoon. Next, we have one of the OG Cyclopses. Some of you might remember this one. He comes with a little thing that he holds that wraps around his belt. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Some kind of mechanism. I don't know what Cyclops needs other than his, you know, laser beam eyesight. But as you see, the batteries are dead. But that's because this is all the way back from like 1992, 1993. Of course, the batteries aren't going to work no more. Maybe I can replace them. But yeah, clearly his little eyes would just turn on. Cool looking figure though. It's a different little spin on the, you know, normal Cyclops costume that you see him in. Kind of interesting. Oh, I just almost dropped the whole thing of X-Men over here. Okay, next one. This is one of my favorite villains. Mr. Sinister. This dude is cool. This is another one where as a kid I wasn't really sure, you know, I wasn't sure much about him. But he was cool looking. He reminded me of like Dracula. And again, his chest piece would light up red just like the Cyclops figure. He's a cool looking guy, dude. I mean, you ever come across this dude in the cartoon, you knew he was like nobody to mess with. I heard he's like one of the most powerful villains there are. But hopefully we'll be able to see more of him in some future movies. Because he is one of my favorite villains. He's just cool as hell. And he just had that riz, man. He had that charisma like crazy. Here is another X Factor figure. This is another one that I got on the cheap because clearly, as you see, doesn't do much. His arms don't bend. There's not much articulation. He basically just stands there and looks good. I think he came with a gun. Big whoop. You know, real exciting for an action figure, you know, like his backpack, very minimal detail. It's just all one form. I mean, I'm surprised they gave him bendable knees. Yeah, he was a cheap figure, but nonetheless, he's part of the X-Men figure collection of that time. Next, of course, we have the ultimate badass villain, Magneto. Pretty cool. Hang on. Actually, I think I do know. So he's got one of these things on his back that you're supposed to push down. I don't think this one works anymore. But what you'd do is you'd push it down, and then inside this little window in his chest, you would see sparks. At least I believe that's what it was. If I remember right as a kid, I believe there used to be sparks. But yeah, this doesn't push down anymore. He's too old. Brand new, but still too old of a figure that even out of the box fresh, he doesn't work no more. Age has not done Magneto well. Now for Wolverine's ultimate enemy, we have Sabretooth. Now this is an older Sabretooth. I still feel like, look at that. He's got the battle damage. Flip his torso in case Wolverine, comes and jacks him up. Bam! So that's what he does. Oh, my bad. The little thing on the back did it for me. That's pretty cool. That makes him a little bit cooler, I'm not going to lie. Now, I do like the more updated version of Sabretooth that you guys are probably more familiar with, seeing him in the cartoon. I like that version of Sabretooth way better. And honestly, with this latest Deadpool movie that came out, and they showed Sabretooth as the one from the early 2000s X-Men's movies, I think they really dropped the ball and should have made Sabretooth look like the other one from the cartoon with the short hair. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it should have been the other Sabretooth, though. Apocalypse. Now, this is a character who's kind of getting like a bit of a resurgence now with the new cartoon. They've made him look a little bit different. I will admit this figure does not do him very much justice. It does make him look goofy as hell. He kind of looks like what's that guy's name? Lockjaw or Iron Trap, whatever that dude's name is. Kind of looks like that froggy goblin version. Doesn't look the greatest. He looks way better in the cartoon. So this figure is not my favorite of him. But nonetheless, he's one of the big villains at the time. So you got to collect the figure. And then last but not least of my collection so far, we have Cable. This is not my most favorite Cable, but he's not my least favorite either. I'm not going to lie. I think the original Cable figure with him in his normal clothes that you probably remember him from in the cartoon and stuff, with more of the blues and grays. It's more so what, the movie modeled Cable after. I like this figure better than that one because that one, he really comes super stiff. His arm is only meant to hold a gun. Again, just like a couple of the other ones, very minimal articulation and stuff. So I do like this one better for that fact. But there is some other really cool Cable figures. This one's sweet because these strings on the back, you have a partial string that comes out of each end of his backpack. And what you do is you basically pull one side of the string or the other and see how it pulls through. It basically makes him seem like he's on a zip line when you pull, one string or the other. So that way he can like zip up and down the line. It's pretty cool. I mean, as far as the action figure goes, that's pretty sweet. So I do like this figure for that fact. But honestly, my favorite Cable figure is the orange spaceman looking one. I don't know why. I've never seen Cable in space. But the orange Cable with the bubble helmet is probably my favorite Cable figure of the whole X-Men line. And then off to the side, I don't know why I had these in there, but these were kind of popular back in the day. These are the little die-cast little figures. They're pretty heavy. I mean, if you ever chucked one of these at somebody, it would hurt. I mean, these are like throwing a rock. Little die-cast. That's a War Machine, not X-Men, but, I had them in here. Of course, I got the original Iron Man. I believe these probably came in a 2-pack. And then I think I have one more. This one is an X-Men. One of my favorite X-Men, Gambit. Kind of a crappy figure, but he's all die-cast metal. Arms are plastic, but the body's metal. He's cool. I like Gambit. I don't know what's going on with Channing Tatum these days. It doesn't sound like his career is doing too good at the moment. But hopefully that doesn't stop us from seeing more of Gambit in the future with the upcoming movies. But that's gonna do it for today's toy spot. Hope you guys enjoyed Ninja Turtles and X-Men. So until the next one, guys, later.